सेना प्रमुख के प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में लिए चलते हैं इस वक्त.
And the total figures are 91 all ranks, which includes 6 officers, 8 JCOs and 77 other ranks. These officers, JCOs and men have made the ultimate, the supreme sacrifice in the line of duty and in the best traditions of the Indian Army. And I feel we need to salute these. On behalf of all ranks of the Indian Army, I salute these gentlemen who in the very noble cause have laid down their lives. My heart especially goes out today to the families of 2 soldiers who were killed on the 8th, who were mutilated, their bodies were mutilated after that operation on the 8th by the Pakistani regulars. It was a gruesome act, most unpardonable act. We have lodged a very strong protest in this regard to the government, to the DGMO, and this is being taken up today. Alongside this act, it defies all logic. It's against the very principles and rules of engagement. It is against the very ethics of soldiering and professionalism. And therefore, in very strong terms, we have taken up this case with the government of Pakistan, to our government. You would have heard the statements of the Raksha Mantri, you would have heard the statement of the Minister of External Affairs. The DGMOs have conveyed this during the DGMO talk, and this afternoon, in fact, at 1 o'clock, when we have this flag meeting today at the brigade commander's level, this again is being put across, protest being lodged in a very strong manner today. I wish to clarify a few aspects, ladies and gentlemen, with regard to the incident, because we've had varying descriptions coming about on this incident. The first thing I wish to highlight is that there was no operation undertaken by the Indian Army on the 6th, as alleged by the Pakistan Army. And this has been covered widely, they've been talking about it, but having ascertained from ground, it's with conviction that I'm telling you that no operation was carried out by the Indian Army on the 6th. The other thing about blaming one of the commanders, that there was a commander who was very aggressive, and as a result of this, this has started. Well, I expect all my commanders on the line of control to be aggressive and offensive in the face of provocation and firing. I don't expect my commanders to be timid. And from that point of view, I think the commanders on the LC are doing a great job, and their morale has to be kept high. They're doing a wonderful job. They are operating, they are conducting themselves in a professional manner. Their response is always in retaliation to being provoked and not being fired at. And the response is always measured and for effect. The other aspect I wish to highlight in this regard is a word about Charunda village, media has been covering. And a certain amount of impression has been given that the entire thing has started from there. I wish to clarify, and we have a picture of village Charunda, which will be shown to you during the break after this. It's being carried by DDGPI. He will show it to you. From the picture you will see that Charunda village is dominated by the Pakistani posts. And therefore, when it is dominated, it has also been subjected to large number of times to small arms and mortar fire. In the month of October, there were 3 civilians who had been killed in the village Charunda, which included one lady, a pregnant lady of 23 years old. Now, in that area, when you are being fired upon, you don't expect the soldiers to walk in the open. And therefore, the soldiers have prepared a communication trench, a crawl trench, and an observation post. There is no concrete defense works in this area. I wish to assure you this. And therefore, this information which came up, that it was on account of this, it's all false. Let me also tell you, this kind of activity goes on both sides. Preparation of defenses, modification of defenses, upkeep of defenses is the ongoing activity along the line of control. And I must share this with you. Right from my company days to the core day, I have commanded on the line of control. And I have enough experience with regard to this. And I've also thought that some of you, in fact most of you who are old timers have been to the LC, but those who wish to go there again, I've already thought of it, I've told the DGMO, will be too glad to take you to the LC to make you understand the dynamics of line of control. What exactly goes on over there. Because once you see that for yourself, you'll find your reporting will fall in the correct perspective. And you'll be able to appreciate this incident, how it occurred and why it occurred, and what needs to be done. Therefore, we will try and take you there at the earliest, the moment things stabilize. We'll take you to that area. The other thing I wish to highlight is that this response, which is so-called alleged response, or has been portrayed by Pakistan, that it was a response to our operations on the 6th, was premeditated and pre-planned. If you see the sequence of events, it very clearly emerges that it was a pre-planned activity. They blame us for this operation on the 6th night. On the 7th morning, their DGMO calls up our DGMO and he calls for a DGMO talk, which of course manifested on the 7th. They pass on a démarche to our diplomat, to our High Commissioner in Islamabad on the 7th. They launch a media campaign trying to portray us in poor light and saying that we have launched the operation on 6th. And within about 50 hours, they launched this operation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, such operations require time for planning and execution. The execution very fact is taking place, but this kind of operation requires detailed reconnaissance. And where they are blaming us for this in Uri area, the operation has been launched south of Pir Panjab in Mandar area. In other words, their troops were poised for this operation. Pakistan was only looking at, the Pakistani army was essentially looking at justifying, legitimizing this action. So therefore this entire information campaign which was launched by them, which is based on lies, has got to be understood in the correct perspective. As far as our stance is concerned with regard to this, I must tell you this, that it's an operation at the tactical level. And as you know that in the war fighting arena, there are various levels at which these kind of operations are undertaken. The tactical, operational and strategic arenas. While yes, this incident has had strategic implication in terms of the beheading of our soldier. That is unacceptable. Militarily, the operation is at the tactical level, but it has got strategic nuances, and therefore those strategic nuances, our concerns have been conveyed to the government of Pakistan by our government, based on our very strong protest that we launched to the government. At the military level, it's a tactical operation being dealt with by the local commanders. And I wish to assure you that I have given very clear directions in this regard to the Northern Army Commander, that we need to maintain and retain moral ascendancy at all costs. We've got to retaliate to provocation, to firing in a measured manner and for effect. We will uphold the ceasefire as long as the adversary upholds it. But we shall not be passive to be fired at. And therefore, when we are fired at, when we are provoked, we shall respond immediately, and also to acts of this kind, the heinous act which was committed on the 8th in Mandar sector, we reserve the right to retaliate at the time and place of choosing. And from the point of view of aggressiveness and offensiveness, as I said earlier, I expect my commanders in the face of provocation and firing to be aggressive and offensive. And therefore, moral ascendancy implies that they understand they are doing a great job, and they must understand that the army hierarchy is standing behind them. I would take on questions in this regard. I know this has been in the media and the news for a long time, and rightly so, because it has been an emotive issue. It has hurt all of us. It has hurt the chief, me and my entire army. It's something we are not at all happy with, and we have just the reason launched a very strong protest. I would take on questions in this regard later, but ladies and gentlemen, since this is an annual feature, I think it will be most appropriate I touch upon some other facets of what we are doing and what we've done in the past and how we intend moving ahead. Would you like to cover this now, or you feel I can cover this later? You want to ask questions on this issue first?
Just one second. Just one. It will be better that you finish.
I think I'll just go ahead and let me cover. Right, the Indian Army is moving ahead with a vision. A vision in the backdrop of the national aspirations. A vision in the backdrop of where we are today and where we have to go. And therefore, from that point of view, the vision stipulates essentially ensuring the operational effectiveness of the Indian Army to ensure it remains a potent, accountable, responsive and relevant instrument of national power. And when I use the word relevant, relevance comes in the backdrop of the national aspirations to remain compatible, to be able to fulfill the national aspirations as mandated by the government from time to time. In this, ladies and gentlemen, we had identified our KRAs. The first one being the operational readiness. Operational readiness to ensure that we are able to fulfill our constitutional obligations and mandated tasks. The second was regarding the modernization. Modernization to ensure that we address the hollowness and deficiencies which are there in our combat power. And this not is only in the facet of the physical component of combat power, but also the conceptual and model. I shall touch upon this later. The other KRA is strengthening the work culture and upholding the cherished core values of the organization. Our core values, which have been highlighted over decades, over centuries, these need to be upheld at all costs, and these are integrity, loyalty, respect, duty, selfless service, courage and honor. And if you ask me, I can touch upon these later on and tell you what exactly it implies. We're also looking at the human resource management to ensure that there are very high levels of morale in all rank and file, all members of the officers, JCOs and men. This can only come about if their aspirations are addressed in the correct perspective and there are initiatives in this regard. I can touch upon this during the question now. Enhancing the security consciousness, because we had large number of leaks taking place with regard to our classified documents, to our plans, and I suppose there's a need to share our plans, our classified material on need-to-know basis. The other is about enhancing jointness with the other two services. And the last one, looking after the welfare of ex-servicemen and Veernaris, because, ladies and gentlemen, they belong to the bigger, the larger family of the army. And unless they are happy, they are at the bedrock of this structure of the army. And unless they are happy, the army cannot be happy. And unless they are happy, we can't have the right kind of material coming into the army to join our rank and file. So therefore, this is another KRA that has been spelled out. With respect to modernization, I must tell you that I talked of the combat part. I touched upon the physical aspects, but let me tell you that combat power comprises three components: the conceptual, the moral, and the physical. The thrust of the Indian Army is in the three domains, in the three facets. Conceptual, dealing with the strategy, the doctrine, the operational art. We are revisiting our strategy, we are revisiting our doctrines to make sure they are compatible, they are relevant. We are also going into the moral aspects which relate to the motivation, morale, leadership, training. And we are getting into the physical aspects of the combat power, which essentially are the human resource management, human capital management, equipment, related issues, infrastructure, optimization of our force structures and their strengthening, and the logistics. We have, with regard to acquisitions, further refined our mechanisms to make them more accountable, to make sure that various stages of the acquisition plan are met in a time-bound manner. They are constantly monitored. There is more transparency, and we stick scrupulously to the provisions of DPP 2011 for capital and DPM 2009 as far as the revenue budget is concerned. I have the PSOs also here today, ladies and gentlemen, and any factual details which you feel you need, we shall be able to share those with you on need-to-know basis, as I said earlier. Because I can imagine that there is a desire of you to know more and more, but you'll appreciate that given the sensitivities of certain plans, of certain actions, we will not be able to share the entire thing with you. Like for example, certain schemes, I wonder if it's already been covered. because as per DPP 2011, we cannot be sharing information on various schemes, at what stage they are and what is being done. But broadly, yes, what our thrust areas are, I can always tell you that. With regard to our operational plans, kindly bear with me. Again, these have got to be shared on need-to-know basis, because the plans, if they get diverged, they can create problems at the grassroots level, at the ground level, when they are executed. Therefore, with this as the backdrop, ladies and gentlemen, I am open to any questions that you have.
We'll take one by one. 10.
Know your name, please. I can't even see who's. Is there a mic? Oh, the please.
Sharma, the Sunday Guardian.
Yes, ma'am.
So on 1st August 2011, also 4 heads were beheaded from 19 Rajput. And after this incident has taken place. The DGMOs have just spoken, and today the flag meeting is there. Are you coming up with some kind of a mechanism so as to avoid such an incident in the future? And what are we doing to bring Hemaraj's head back and update on 197 choppers?
Right. With regard to getting the head back, it has been taken up at the government level, and we'll appreciate that this has to be done through the diplomatic channels. Message being conveyed. It's also being conveyed to the DGMO. It's also being conveyed today in this regard, in no uncertain terms. And let's see if the Pakistan Army heeds to this protest and they comply with it. That is one. The other aspect, you're right, this is the second incident that has happened. Measures that have been instituted are more in terms of ensuring that wherever any activities are carried out, these are by balanced troops, a balanced team, balanced in terms of composition, a team that will be able to withstand such operations at the tactical level by the adversary. We are also enhancing our surveillance capability along the line of control, both technical and also the human intelligence, to make sure that we are forewarned with these kind of activities. Beg your pardon? Along the line of control, both technical and also the human intelligence, to make sure that we are forewarned with these kind of activities. Beg your pardon? I will get caution because there is a large number of allegations. We got to investigate these and then take the call on this.
8.
Pakistani Army and Pakistani government has been in a denial mode. They are not accepting the Indian allegations of the Indian Army. And along with these statements, the threatening statements are also coming from Taliban. So we will see a combined inquiry on behalf of the Pakistani government and the Pakistani Army. Sorry, the last question I don't understand. It's just about the Taliban, Taliban, Pakistan, they have been issuing statements regarding Kashmir. Kashmir will not remain peaceful, and they will not stress offenses in Kashmir. So do you see a combined move by the army and Taliban, the extremist elements in Pakistan, to launch all these offenses, the latest offenses? No, we analyze all such confidence and we are prepared for it. That means just leave it at that. There would be an attempt to create an upsurge in the internal security in Jammu and Kashmir. Yeah, we are here.
29. 18.
General, the statistics that we have got from the Army says that in the last calendar year, there have been 117 ceasefire violations along the ID and the LC. That gives us an average of 1 ceasefire violation every 3 days. Where is the ceasefire, sir?
Sorry?
Where is the ceasefire? If you have a bar which at 173 crores.
Look, what you need to understand is that this ceasefire, which came into effect on the 26th of November 2003, I was involved in the operation of that point of time. This is on an understanding between both the DGOs, between both the governments. So the operation came from the Pakistani side. It has been in place, but these aberrations in the form of violation haven't taken place. You are right. In the year 2011, we had one ceasefire violation every 6 days. We had 61. So therefore, roughly it comes to one in every 6 days. You're right, in 2012, it was one in every 3 days. We've had only 9 this year. But please remember this thing that it is not the entire line of control that is activated. This activation is segmentized. This activation is essentially a two-phase. The majority of the ceasefire violations have been either in the police sector or in this AD sector. One is number 10. And this performance is the major. So when we realize that these are localized, the local dynamics, and it is not the entire LC that is activated. Therefore, if you really come to think of it, the ceasefire to a large extent is rolling out with aberrations in certain areas. And these localized aberrations, ceasefire violations, are being dealt with appropriately as per our SOP. We also prioritize, as I said earlier, our response is measured and qualitative. And these are linked to the technical level. SOP is not the case. You're right that if you go by the sheer numbers, perhaps you will see there is no ceasefire. But please see that the other segments of the LC, there are devoid of this kind of fire. So ceasefire is on, but yes, one of the concerns of what has actually annoyed us, angered us, is the way they have treated our two soldiers who were killed on the beach.
Why is it?
That is our argument.
Why is it restricted to these two or three sectors? Why is it
Look, right. You see, firstly, these are also related to infiltration. Now, you see the way Churunda, for example. Churunda is the shortest route only. And this is the place which they have traditionally used in the past to infiltrate. This fire which is there from their side is a mark of frustration. Then you have recruited, you have denied, you have people coming in from that side. So it's basically a depiction of their frustration. And then fire comes in this area. Similar in this area, you see the area of Navigati, traditionally infiltration has been taking place from these areas, and most of these fire violations have been in this area. In the last 2 years, you see productivity in this area again, and the area. An activity could well be either to the direction, team which came to the coming in, or even infiltrators. We are trying to get further information on this, but we have inputs to allude to the fact that this operation 2 days ago, when at night we fired on them, we have dropped 3 of their either terrorist or forces. But we are waiting for ground confirmation. Logically, the troops are not moving forward because the fire which is on at the moment to verify this. But to my way of thinking, perhaps people who are trying to move last night could have well come in to take the points back of the people who were killed earlier.
9.
The circumstances in which this patrol was attacked and which was the 2 men were killed. Is there any inquiry into any lapses in the manner in which they were doing the patrol? Is there anything of this kind that is
Look, talking frankly, what is of paramount importance at this stage is that the morale of the troops on the LC should be high. Everything will take its time. There are procedures for this as well, because after all, social loss of the unity, we got to institute corrective measures. We shall do that. But then, I think at this point of time, the important phases, or important aspect at the moment is to make sure that people remain active, alert. They are given the requisite wherewithal to carry out their operations, and they are not on time. But yes, we will definitely go into it and institute corrective measures.
17. No, 70. I don't.
17, 70.
Doesn't matter.
But I didn't know you went to 70 as well.
This side, sir. I'm based from the United India. Those are answers. एक तो ये कि आपने जो स्ट्रॉन्ग वर्डेड स्टेटमेंट डाल दिया उससे पाकिस्तान को समझ में आ जाना चाहिए कि इंडियन आर्मी ने इसको लाइटली नहीं लिया, लेकिन पाकिस्तान को ये स्टेटमेंट सुनने की आदत ऑपरेशन पराक्रम से पहले भी है। 11 भी हमने देखा और उसको हमने जवाब दिए, लेकिन जो कुछ उसको लेसन एक नहीं मिला। आज आपने कहा है कि हम अपना रिजर्व करते हैं राइट रिटेलिएट करने का और हम अपने चूजिंग टाइम पर अपने चूजिंग प्लेस पर इसका जवाब देंगे। पाकिस्तान को ऐसा क्या हम लोग संदेश देंगे कि इस बार ये हमारे जो स्टेटमेंट है वो खोखले नहीं है और हम ग्राउंड पर कुछ करेंगे अगर उन्होंने अपनी हरकत में बात की है। ये सवाल हमारा एक था। मेरा दूसरा सवाल ये है,
देखिए ऐसे है, मैंने आपको पहले बताया कि ये जो ऑपरेशन है ये लोअर लेवल के ऊपर, टेक्निकल लेवल के ऊपर, और ये कार्रवाई लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल के ऊपर चलती है। मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ खासकर ये 2 इलाके जो है 161 ब्रिगेड का, 10 ब्रिगेड का, जहाँ ये कार्रवाई चलती रहती है और भी कई जगह जहाँ फाइल आती है और हम वहाँ पे उसको ट्रेनिंग करते हैं। अभी जहाँ तक सवाल है मैसेज देने का, मैसेज हम दे चुके हैं अपने मिलिट्री चैनल से थ्रू और डिप्लोमेटिक थ्रू, क्योंकि ऑपरेशन एक नीचे लेवल के ऊपर है। इस सिचुएशन को डील किया जा रहा है उसी लेवल के ऊपर, और मैं आपको बता दूं कि हम जवाब देंगे, हम उनको जवाब देंगे पक्का, और वो जवाब जो है मैंने पहले बताया, वो जो लोकल वहां पे कमांडर्स हैं, जो कमीशन कमांडर्स हैं, वो प्लान सर्विस बनाते हैं कि कब किस वक्त और कहां पे एक्शन देना है, और ये हम उनको ये फिगर देते हैं। उनको लेवल हायर लेवल के ऊपर हम सिर्फ डायरेक्टिव देते हैं क्या करना है, और देख करते हुए जो ग्राउंड रियलिटीज है, जो ग्राउंड सिचुएशन है, उसके तहत जो लोकल कमांडर्स हैं वो कार्य करते हैं। बाकी जो मैसेज है वो देखिए वो पाकिस्तान को जाएगा इंटरनेशनल कम्युनिटी की तरफ से, वो जाएगा हमारे डिप्लोमेटिक चैनल की तरफ से, और जहां तक सवाल है मिलिट्री वहां से दिखा रहा है।
दूसरा सवाल
I come back to it. The first one you want to come to the second one. Don't worry about it. 25.
So my name is Gaurav Samant. I represent Headlines today. My question to you is, not retaliating so far, what impact does it have on the morale of the troops on ground? Why hasn't the response team immediate if SOPs are they fire, you fire back, and you fire and they you dominate them? Why hasn't the army responded so far that Pakistan realizes that it has costs to pay? It cannot get away with murder every day.
You are given this impression that we are not ready.
That's a genuine question, sir.
No, it's actually wrong impression. It is excellent to please clarify to you. When I say reserves are right to retaliate, that is in terms of any kind of operation that they have done. But let me tell you one thing. We respect the NCT when we will not be crossing over. How we do it, I will be formation commander and the commander at the technical level. I don't want to divulge the plans. But let me tell you otherwise, we have been firing back. The order is very clear to the flight commanders, to the cutting commanders, to the brigade commanders, that when provoked, when fired upon, they will retaliate. I mentioned this in my statement that I gave. That my direction is very clear. I expect my commander and my unit commander and my sub-unit commander, that the flight commander and the cutting commanders will be aggressive and offensive on the line of control when provoked and then fired upon. I said,
but he has initiative.
Look, the point is, these are the tactical level. This fire, you can't really fire, they have already been fired. They were all about it, let me tell you. All these fire violations have been targeted. It's very rare that we have opened fire when we've been provoked in terms of attacking. But yes, we do give a response in a professional manner, which is measured and is correct. And the only thing that is that we have fired back. We fired back very well, let me tell you. And so that we will, and I said earlier, I don't want people to be aggressive and offensive when they are provoked.
15.
The question that I have is, what was the necessity for us to call for a meeting today that is scheduled from our side? What was the necessity of calling for a meeting today, a flag meeting today, from the Indian Army side.
While we have conveyed at the national level, at the strategic level, at the operational level, certain messages have been conveyed. At the tactical level, we need to convey certain aspects with regard to the deviation from the rules of engagement and the deviation from the ethics of soldier. Plus, we wish to lodge a very strong protest even at the tactical level and give a message of de-reserving the right to retaliate at the time of the institution. This message must go down at the technical level to the Pakistani Army. And of course, we wish to respect the accountability from what they are trying.
So, Chairman Chiefs of Staff Committee very recently said that several options will be looked at if firing continues. Now, can you tell us what kind of options will be looked at? Have you discussed this amongst yourselves, the Chief Chiefs, and have you suggested anything to the government at this point?
So, this is an action, an operation, as I said earlier, at the technical level. Please remember one thing, I have to clarify to you the use of force. In war, the hierarchy of war fighting, it starts off from a duel. Thereafter you go to engagement. Then you go to battle. Then you go to campaign, and then war. This is a hierarchy in which you go. This is at the bottom of the entire use of force. And therefore, please remember, the options are in the military domain. They are at the tactical level. And as far as the statement is concerned, when the chief, in the Chairman of the Staff Committee, I respect this statement, you must seek the clarification from him regarding the options. Because you were only covering those, and I suppose what you perhaps meant was in the domain of diplomatic and economic certain options. But as far as the military options are concerned, it is an operation being dealt with by the army at the tactical level. You have adequate resources, you have adequate wisdom, you have professional, competent commanders to be able to deal with the situation. Yes, at the strategic area, what is of consequence and what has actually hurt us is the decapitation of our soldiers, the beheading of our soldiers. That is something which is we will not tolerate, and this is something we have given a very strong message. And this is something which has been conveyed by the government. But with regard to the operation per se, let me tell you that this can be dealt with at the technical level. These are localized operations, and I want to get to it further. That's what I was just saying. SOPs.
Thanks.
शहीद की विधवा अपने वर्षों की मांग को लेकर आमरा अनशन पर बैठी है, आप क्या संदेश देना चाहेंगे?
अच्छा,
संदेश क्या देंगे, क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
देखिए, पहली बात तो हमारी जो सहानुभूति है उसके साथ में है, हम उनका गलत समझते हैं, और मैं एक चीफ होने के नाते जो कि एक पूरी फौज का जो परिवार है उसके सबसे मुखिया हूँ, एक बाप के समान मुझे दुख है कि जो उनके साथ में बीता है, उनके परिवार के साथ में बीता है, मैंने केवल जो पढ़ा है उनका दुख जो है, लेकिन आपको बताना चाहता हूँ कि जहाँ पर सवाल है उनकी देखभाल का हमारे जो लोकल प्रोविजन प्रोवाइडर्स हैं वो उनके साथ में मिल जाते हैं, जिसको बताया गया है, मैं उनका गलत समझता हूँ, लेकिन हम पूरी कोशिश करेंगे उनका दुख दर्द दूर करने के लिए, उनको जितनी सुविधाएं प्राप्त नहीं है, जितनी सहूलियतें प्राप्त नहीं है, उनकी जितनी एंटाइटलमेंट्स हैं, ये हम उनको लगाएंगे। और मैं आपको ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि हम उनके साथ हैं, तो हमारा परिवार है, और मुझे बहुत दुख और दर्द है कि जो हमारी जो हमारी बच्चियां हैं उनको ये सहना पड़ा है, हमारे जो वीर जोड़ा, हमारे जो जवान जो हमारे
सर मेरा सवाल ये पहले रिपोर्ट पे आई थी कि हाफिज से कुछ वो पहले मौजूद था एलओसी के पास में, तो जो अटैक हुए थे ये कहा जाता है कि पाकिस्तानी जिसने अटैक किया था उसमें लश्कर में जुड़ा है, हाफिज के जो सपोर्टर्स है वो भी साथ में उन्होंने ऑपरेशन को अंजाम दिया था। क्या आपके पास ऐसी कोई रिपोर्ट है?
देखिए ऐसी पॉसिबिलिटी है उसे हम रिजॉल्व नहीं कर सकते। पाकिस्तान और के पास में जब हम ऑपरेशन को करते हैं तो हम करते हैं अपने ओन कॉम्बैट पाकिस्तान, अपने जवानों के साथ। लेकिन पाकिस्तान आर्मी के पास में ये यही टूल है टेररिस्ट, और वो इसका काफी मोटी तरीके से इस्तेमाल करते हैं। तो उसकी जो पॉसिबिलिटी है उसे हम रिजॉल्व नहीं कर सकते। ये मीडिया में सुना है, लेकिन जहां तक सवाल है इंटेलिजेंस रिपोर्ट का, ये इसके अंदर होम मिनिस्टर साहब ने स्टेटमेंट दिया है। यकीनन उनका जो स्टेटमेंट था वो इंटेलिजेंस लेवल होगा। तो इसका मतलब है कि जो उनका इन्वॉल्वमेंट है ये पहले होता रहा है और हो सकता है ऐसे हुआ। लेकिन जहां तक हमारी इंटेलिजेंस है जो कि ईरान से आई है, फॉर्मेशन से आई है और मोहम्मद से आई है, ये ऑपरेशन एक उनका उनके कमांडर है एसएससी उन्होंने किया और उनके जो रेगुलर्स हैं उन्होंने किया। इसके अंदर हो सकता है कि टेररिस्ट ने भी उनका सहयोग किया।
So, so you send a very strong message to the troops on the ground and your commander as what to do. And you also say that it's a duel that's happening on the ground from across the border. Do you think Pakistan is reaching to scale up this duel into a engagement in a battle and ultimately a war? And the Chinese who are present there in the POK, are they aiding Pakistan army in all this killing?
जहाँ तक सवाल है आप said about this being, taken to open the enemy in terms of the military action. I do not suppose that this will happen. And because this is, as I said earlier, it is not a live and security activity. This is segment-wise, this is only 2 areas in the area of in the valley and one in the area of Punch.